And the very last section is on translating words into math. Word problems are always the one thing that makes math people really agitated, because you can see math and speak math, and you can see words, but when the words and the math combine, that's when it gets kind of scary. So what I'd like to do is kind of introduce you to some of the ways that word problems look when you're talking about fractions. So you know that when you see the words that look like this, what they're saying is make a fraction that looks like that. So some of the things you're going to see, for example, 17 out of 20. If Sally had 20 students in her class, and 17 out of 20 students passed the test, then this is a fraction. And this fraction looks like 17 out of 20. So if you see the words out of, you know that you're making a fraction with these two numbers in it. You could also say 8 of the 10. 8 of the 10 cars in the parking lot are black. What does that look like in fractions? Well, that looks like 8/10. So 8 of the 10 is another way of saying this is a fraction. Now, one of the questions they'll ask you on the homework is, 8 of the 10 cars in the parking lot are black. How many are not black? And they want a fraction answer. So if you know that 8 of 10 cars are black, you know that the other 2 of the 10 cars are not black, and this would be your answer. Okay? Then they start to play a little. So here's an example. I've got marbles in a bag, and I've got 3 blue marbles and 4 red marbles and 5 yellow marbles. And the question is, what fraction of those marbles, what fraction is blue? So you know that the number of blue marbles is the numerator, because they say what fraction is blue. So they want blue on top, but they want the total number of marbles on the bottom. So you've got to add 3 plus 4 plus 5 to get you 12. So your answer is going to be 3/12. Okay? And you'll have a few of those on your homework too. So look through the examples and the guided practice on page 213 and have a look at what those look like. Then they go into rulers. They expect you to understand rulers. You've been looking at rulers all your life. Now, so they've gone ahead and they've drawn rulers over and over again. I need you to understand what all the lines on a ruler really mean, okay? So here I've drawn you a ruler, and this is the 0 line, and this is 1 inch. And these are all of the lines that show up within your inch. And I need you to be able to translate these lines into fractions. So notice that they're all at different heights. And these different heights are different levels that you cut things up. So this first level, okay, so this is the inch line. If I cut something down into this level, and I draw a straight line, because I'm good at that, obviously. This is 0 and this is 1. I've cut a ruler up, and this is my first cut part. However, then I'm going to cut it up at this level. Now here, you can see I've broken my inch up into 2 pieces. I've broken it here and here. I've broken it into 2 pieces. But if I'm measuring something that's only this long, I've broken it into 2 pieces. I'm only talking about one of those pieces. So that is the 1/2. This is the 1/2 inch mark. Then I go to the next level. Oh, and this line was supposed to be that long. Okay. The next level, notice, now my inch is cut into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I've cut my piece into 4. So this fraction fraction is going to be fourths. This is 1/4. This is 2/4. This is 3/4. And then this is going to be 4/4. Now we already learned, like with 12 over 12, if you have the same number on top and the bottom, that's going to equal 1. But check this out. Here I've got 2/4 and 1/2 that's the same line. And if you think about it, if you take something and you cut it into 2, and you're only talking about, well, that's half. If I cut it into 4 and I'm talking about 2, look, it's still half. 1/2 and 2/4 are the same thing. Then my next line, now I cut my inch into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. And I'm going to count them. Here is 1/8 and 2/8 and 3/8 and 4/8 and 5/8 and 6/8 and 7/8, and that makes 8/8. And 8/8 again is 1. And again, I've got a lot of repeats. So if I cut something, hang on, there's my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I cut something into 8 pieces. And I'm just talking about 1. That's 1. But that's 2. And notice how 2/8 and 1/4 are the same thing. 3/8, 4/8. 4/8 is the same as 2/4, which is the same as 1/2. So we can do 4/8, which is the same as 2/4, which is the same as 1/2. 5/8, 6/8 is the same as 3/4. 7/8, 8/8. Then I can break those even smaller. 13, 14, 15, 16. So notice how it's increasing by 2 each time. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, and now I've got 16ths. And I could spell all these out for you. All the way to 8/16. This is our halfway mark. And notice how 2 is half of 4, and 4 is half of 8, and 8 is half of 16. That's kind of how they flow. But they all equal half. So if I were to cut this in half, and now I've got 16 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 16ths is the same as 1/2. Now it's going to ask you for measurements, and it's going to pick random lines to ask you. So if it asks you this line, what is this line, and you've got them all numbered, that's great. This is 5/8. But how do you find that without all of the numbers? So here's a ruler without the fractions again. How do you find, let's say, this one? How do I find that one? Well, I know that this is the half line, and that makes these the quarter lines. I think these are 8 lines. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there's 8 of them. So this is the 8 line. And how many over are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 over on the 8 level. Okay? Now to double check, I know that this is the halfway mark. And halfway is 4/8. Halfway through 8 is 4. This is farther up the ruler than half, so this number should be bigger. And it is. So I'm probably right. Checking my answer is always a good thing. What if they ask me for this line? Well, this is one of the smallest lines, so I know that this is 16ths. And to make sure I'm going to count all the way to 16, yes, I know that those are 16ths. How many 16ths is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be 5. I like 5 today, apparently. 5/16. And it's smaller than half because half in 16 language would be 8/16. It's smaller than half. So I probably got the right answer. What about this line? Well, now this is one of the bigger lines. So I know I'm going to, and I know that there's one here, and then there's this big one. So this is fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fourths. And I know that it's the third line over. So now you know how to count, and I'm assuming you know that this is 1/2. So now you know how to count halves and quarters and eighths and 16ths on your ruler. Now, there are a lot of ruler problems on this last page before the homework. Go through those and make sure you're really comfortable with how a ruler works and how all the different little numbers work. Because those will show up on your homework, and there's even a test question on ruler, on the different lines in the rulers. Oh, I want to warn you about one thing. Not all rulers go all the way down to 16ths. Sometimes your rulers, let me get rid of the numbers, and this line really goes down to here. Sometimes you don't have those lines, and what I need you to realize is that just because this is the smallest one does not mean this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16ths. Don't assume that this is 16ths just because it's the smallest line there. Because this is not 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 8. There's only 8 of these. This is 5/8. Make sure that you count. How many times did I break this one up? I broke it up 8 times. And I'm talking about the 5th one. Okay? So beware when you're looking at your rulers to know what each level of line represents. Okay? Now, on to homework. You're going to start on page 2-16 and do all of the vocabulary review, numbers 16 through 21. Then you're going to draw a line down the center, and you're going to do numbers 22 through 33, the ones on the left. On the following page, you're going to draw a line down the center, remembering you're going to be the fat half, all the way down the center, and you're going to do the left half. On the following page, you're going to do the left one, and then all the other problems go all the way across both pages. So you're going to do all the rest of the problems, numbers 61 to 73. There are 12 in all, okay? All right, now on to section 2.